Giving all glory and honor and praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Rekah HaKadosh. Double honor to the elder apostles of great millstone who rule well in teaching this 100% truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000 and the rest of the men, women, and children of the elect of the great multitude. I'm your brother McGunn, Shalamar. The title of this video is APEC, which stands for American Israel Public Affairs Committee, is funding the pockets of the politicians, both Republicans and Democrats, to do the bidding of the small hats. This video is fairly long, but it's pretty good. It shows you who all is involved in what type of bidding that APEC, that politicians are doing for APEC. So basically, it's telling you that the reason why Israel is continues getting all these billions of dollars of funding is by the politicians and the president. They're all being funded, their pockets made fat, they're getting rich, while they're in office doing the bidding for APEC. So this is fair use, not for monetary gain, but for educational purpose only, fair use.
Why does the U.S. support Israel so staunchly? Shared values? A military outpost in the Middle East? Or an unending apology for Holocaust? Any of them or all of them would be the answer. Yet, it is noteworthy that the U.S. politicians, whether today or in the past, whether they be Republican or Democrat, vehemently pledge support to any Israeli action. This support goes much beyond alliance, but becomes the embrackment of Israel's sick-minded Zionism.
You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist, and I'm a Zionist.
And we're going to make Israel great again, and we're going to make America great again. We're going to make them both great again, greater than ever before.
As long as I'm a United States Senator, I will do everything in my power to ensure broad and bipartisan support for Israel's security.
Less than a month left for the U.S. elections, the same question keeps minds occupied. Is the U.S. politics strangled by pro-Israeli lobbies? Looking at the consequences of their activities, such as unseating certain politicians or ensuring further monetary aid from the government, the answer seems to be yes.
Good morning, APEC.
APAC, American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, which is the biggest pro-Israeli group but ironically ineligible to make any donations, has already officially spent more than $100 million in the electoral races via guiding individuals or registered lobby groups. Existing in the U.S. for almost half-century, APAC basically pushes members of Congress, presidents, and other elected officials to pass policies that unconditionally support Israel. Up to today, the staunchest supporters of Israel within U.S. politics have received enormous donations from APAC, including the U.S. President Joe Biden, the now bribery-convicted Robert Menendez, Hillary Clinton, John McCain, Ted Cruz, and so on. But APAC is not only this. Let's give an ear to American Palestinian journalist and author Ramzi Baroud, who believes APAC is more than a simple lobby and has bypassed U.S. policy-making mechanisms entirely.
What is happening between Israel and the United States is not exactly lobbying in that sense. In fact, the largest, supposedly the most powerful lobby groups of them all, AIPAC, is not even registered as a foreign lobby group, as if you are part of the domestic politics of America. And this is, I think, is the greatest achievement of the so-called Israel lobby. Is not, number one, their ability to behave in a way that made Israel a domestic issue in American politics.
Furthermore, Baroud argues that most of American policymakers themselves were acting like a pro-Israel lobbyist.
The neoconservatives, which is the powerful ruling elite that had a great sway of power over American foreign policy, during the George Bush administration, they are essentially all pro-Israel lobbyists. Many of them had dual citizenships. Many of them worked for Israeli organizations, Israeli companies, played the roles of advisors within the Israeli government, close to Benjamin Netanyahu and others. And they were yet the ones presented to the American public through American media, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, and all the rest. They presented themselves as, good old Americans.
Obviously, the most striking example was Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who declared his support for Israel as a Jew.
I come before you not only as the United States Secretary of State, but also as a Jew. My grandfather, Maurice Blinken, fled pogroms in Russia.
Another example would be Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, who also has given a speech in an AIPAC meeting. His words for Israel go beyond that of a statesman, but resembles that of a partisan.
We're going to continue to do everything we can to provide them the support that they need.
Unsurprisingly, New York Times questioned the appointment of Lloyd Austin to his current position back in 2020 for the fact that he was serving on the board of RTX, Raytheon Arms Company. The very same company has been providing various arms or military components to Israel.
When we say the word "the lobby" in his book, we're not really referring to a group of people per se, but we are referring to a massive apparatus that is embedded so deep in numerous aspects of American society. They coordinate, they work together, but they don't necessarily all come from a single group of people working for a single agency like AIPAC or any other.
Still, AIPAC's current concern is the upcoming elections. AIPAC proudly says all the Democrats and 193 Republicans that it has endorsed have won their primary races. Things seem to be more undemocratic than they look. Republican Congressman Thomas Massie, who has been the only Republican speaking against Israel's human rights violations, reveals how the system works.
Everybody but me has an AIPAC person.
What does that mean, an AIPAC person?
It's like your babysitter, your AIPAC babysitter, who is always talking to you for AIPAC. They're probably a constituent in your district, but they are, firmly embedded in AIPAC. And
every member has something like this?
I may be the only Republican in Congress who hasn't done homework for AIPAC.
Only saying that killing thousands of people in Gaza were concerning him triggered AIPAC to spend nearly $500,000 against him, and White House to label him as anti-Semitic.
This election cycle, they spent $400,000 against me, $90,000 last fall running TV ads in my district and Facebook ads and whatnot. Now they're banned from my office. The situation went from bad to worse.
Massie was successful enough to survive AIPAC, but Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush were not.
Collective punishment of 2.3 million people is a war crime.
AIPAC has already started to spend against me in this race upwards of $20 million. Our democracy is not for sale. I need your help.
AIPAC has already said they're going to spend over $20 million to try to buy this seat from the people in the district, simply because we support a permanent ceasefire in Gaza.
Wesley Bell won against Bush.
Our relationship with Israel is not a one-way street, it's a two-way street. It is very much in our national security interest to stand with our Israeli partners.
George Latimer, who referred to Israeli borders as our borders, defeated Bowman.
That now we're going to have to take action because this threat is on our border. It's manifested itself in a vicious implementation of the threat.
Looking at what's happening to anti-Israel politicians, we can ask the question of whether the party of the next president would make any difference.
Is there a difference between Harris and Trump? I don't think so, because I think ultimately the foreign policy of America will continue to be determined by the same individuals, organizations, deep state, if you will, that has been managing American foreign policy for all these years. And just a very quick example to prove that this has to be the case, the United States Congress voted in favor of moving the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. And every 6 months, and the executive branch, meaning the White House, would sign a document deferring that move 6 months at a time. All American presidents kind of did the same thing, Democrats or Republicans. What Trump has done, he decided, I will not defer it for another 6 months. This has been the habit for years and years and years. Trump has only speeded up that process. Now that Biden is a president, I mean, he had the chance to reverse many of the steps that Trump have made. To the contrary, not only he actually remained committed to what Trump has decided to do, he also doubled up on the whole normalization efforts. So, will Harris change that? I don't think so.
As a matter of fact, Kamala Harris has also received donation from AIPAC amounting to more than $6 million. What about Donald Trump? Even worse, as he is endorsed by Miriam Adelson, who broke up with AIPAC for it has not opposed giving humanitarian aid to Palestinian Authority. So if all the politicians, except a few, were under Israeli lobby's influence, why are they still spending millions? The answer implies a gradual change within the U.S. public opinion. Polls indicate that up to 55% of U.S. population is disapproving Israeli military attacks on Gaza. Only 18% of those who vote for Democrats approve Israel. This makes clear why AIPAC spends most of its money on Democrats.
There has been a shift in the United States, a shift that is unprecedented in the history of America's relationship to the Middle East in general and Palestine in particular. And the shift is a grassroots shift. The shift is not happening at the top. The top is not disagreeing on anything. In the empowering and the emboldening of specific progressive voices within certain areas where the support for Palestine is stronger, that would allow these individuals not only to be elected as to the local senates or the state senates or that sort of thing, but actually to the federal government's Congress as well. You know, this is a very, very important change, and it has been quite alarming.
With a stranglehold on U.S. politics, AIPAC has been putting its efforts to stop this bottom-up transformation. Nevertheless, the U.S. taxpayers' money and votes are largely controlled by someone else.
It's someone else runs the show. That someone else is not necessarily the president or even the party that rules over America.
Thank you very much.
God, so now I was be able to put a face on this devil. Like now I see, for instance, I'm gonna go to the scripture. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. It reads, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth," and that's talking about America being raised up, America becoming a nation. And he had two horns like a lamb. Them two horns are talking about the American political democracy here. You got one that is Democratic side, and you have the other one, which is all the Republicans. It said two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, because when they're introducing the law, when they're talking on the television, trying to influence and try to captivate and throw a spell on the American people, they're talking like a lamb. But then when them laws that they're trying to pass become final and they become a law, they are dragging legislation. They do nothing but kill and destroy and hurt the earth. That's why it says it speaks like a dragon. But them laws that they put in are for the small hats, because that's who funds them. That's who funds both the Democratic side and the Republican side of the aisle. They said more so on the Democrat. And Jake, majority of Jake is Democrat, especially the tribe of Judah. And that's why they fund a lot of the Democrats. So, and now what I was saying earlier Now I could actually put a face on it, and I could see how this taking place as far as how America continues to send in money to Israel. Everything is all about supporting these small hats. Whatever they say, America is forward and forward and forward. But you see, even the citizens here in America are starting to wake up. They're starting to oppose um, Ben Netanyahu and the rest of his small hats. You know, so we're going to see what's going to happen. But that is what the two horns represents, the Republicans and the Democrats. And he exercised all the power of the first beast being the ancient Roman Empire before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, because the deadly wound was caused when the Roman Empire fell, but it was healed because of America, once it became a nation, became powerful, it was came in the same spirit as the ancient Roman Empire. America's ancient Roman Empire all over again. It says, and he doth great wonders, so that he made fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And how did he did that? He do it without his missiles. His first atomic bomb was on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. First atomic bomb on this earth shook the earth, and all the world wondered and looked like, damn, he did that. Japan like, yo, you got it. We give up, man. We bombed soldiers at Pearl Harbor, but y'all came and killed a whole towns and cities of women and children. And it said 13, he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the fire on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwelleth on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Why? Because Esau is blessed with the sword. And all of these technical weapons of destruction America has, and it says, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had been wounded by the sword and did live. And that image all ties into that MOTB that's coming out. All of it's tied in, because the beast again is talking about the ancient Roman Empire, and America is in the same spirit, has the same spirit of the ancient Roman Empire, the same architects, the same type of philosophies, religion, freedom of choice, if I said to say philosophies, their politics, this is in the same spirit. Over here, they teaching the ancient Roman numerals, back of the dollar bill is written in Latin. It says annuit conceptus, which means they favor our enterprise with success. And then at the bottom of that's on the back of the bill with the all-seeing-eye pyramid. And at the bottom of that pyramid, it says Novos Ordo Seclorium, which means New World Order. So who favor our enterprise with success is not that hour is not talking about me and you. That hour is talking about the top elites of the banking families, the small hats. They favor the small hat. They favor their agenda with success, which is what? The New World Order. And what is that New World Order? We're about to read it right now. It all goes back to being that charagma, the mark of the beast, which will be the RFID chip. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Again, because when they bring out that chip, and if you're not a part of the system, you're not getting down with that new system, new world order, you're going to be killed or thrown in jail. Because this devil's coming down with great wrath, and they're not playing. And you're going to see them horns fully extended. You're going to see martial law. You're going to see, can't go outside 15-minute cities. You can't go outside the city without a pass. You can't go to, be in Philly. You can't go to out in the county or go to Jersey or go to New York or go down 95 north or south. That's what it's leading to. And it said, verse 16, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And Jake gonna get that joint in the right hand. That word mark. Let's go ahead and get it real quick. The mark goes into the Greek word, which means charagma, right? And the charagma is the system of this beast system. It's the whole system, the chip. It says it's a stamp, an imprinted mark, which means this is the system. Once you get it, you are slave to this devil. It means that you're marked, you're branded, There's Strong's definition. It's a scratch, an etching, a stamp, a graven mark. Right. So that's what the charagma, the whole system is. Now once you get it, you are branded. You are the branded, meaning you are you are ownership of the devil, which is Esau, Edom. Small hats, beginning with the top banker families. Now we go into the root word of charagma. It's karax. It says to sharpen, to a point, akin, right? Scratching. That's the delivering device. A pail, a stake, a palicide. That means a sharp pail, like a sharp instrument, which it will be the delivering device for this type of for this mark. The charagma is going to be a syringe type. Okay, you can Google it. They're doing it already. They're doing it over there in Switzerland. You can Google it. I did a video not too long ago showing you a short video that shows you this one guy. He got it, some years back. Put on in his hand, and it just goes right underneath the skin like a grain of rice. It says to sharpen. So yeah, that's what the karax is. It's the delivery device. Okay. Now you go into the root word of charagma, the suffix of the word is grapho of charagma. The suffix is grapho, and that goes into, it says what? Writing, the writing. This is the actual information that's going to be inside of that chip. It's going to be so much information, your name, who you are. It's going to be all in that barcode. It says a letter on a tablet, parchment. Well, it's going to be information, data include. That's what that data is. That's the grapho that's going to be in that chip. It's going to be a barcode with a number on it, and that barcode going to have your name, your blood type, where you live, how much money you're going to have each month in the bank, your social status score, things of that nature. But that's going to be the information that's going to be included on you. That's how you're going to need that in order to buy or sell. Your credit card, your money ain't going to be around no more. No such thing as dollar bills. No such thing as credit cards. You're going to have that chip and your information on that chip in order to buy or sell. Point blank, period. And you see, again, this is all stemming from the top elites, man. The small hats, they're in control of all these countries, not just America, but all these countries, even China. They're doing it. How do you think China got rich? Who really made them rich? How do you think these nations getting rich and really getting powerful? Who backing them? The small hats, the top banking family, international banking families. Okay, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Murdochs, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Morgans. All of these are small hats. Amalek, you know, the wickedest, smallest tribe of Esau, but they're the most powerful and richest. It says, and they that in verse 17 it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he have that mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay? It says, here is wisdom, let him that understandeth count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 score and six. The size, let's get it, the phi size stigma. The key size stigma, Salaki. I know I was saying it wrong. Yeah. So his number is 666. So that number is going to be included in that barcode. Well, it's simple, man. You know, like the other apostle Tahar always says, this is so simple to the elect to understand. But you got to have the wisdom. You got to have the Lord have to be with you to have you understand. The Holy Spirit has to be working with you. You know, and you have to come into the truth, the 100% truth, a great millstone who breaks this down 100% truth, and even a baby can understand. Because why? Great millstone go into the root word. You got to go into the root words. You got to go into the Greek to understand it, and you have to be able to link up the true breakdowns of these prophecies. And these other camps don't do it, but great millstones starting from the elder apostle Tahar on down. You know, got the true breakdown. So I pray to you was edified, call halal Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rekar HaKadosh. Again, double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom.